Well, this is what we wait for. We wait for these moments where we could solve more equations using all the things we've learned. So we are on lesson 1110. Wow, I totally didn't mean to get that color, but I'll go with it. And we are doing simple radical equations. So we are just using these radicals and we're going to solve equations with them in there. So let's start with our essential question. Our essential question says, can you solve equations involving radicals? I know you can because you guys are smart kiddos. Let's start with example 1. To get rid of a radical, this radical right here, I know I can square it. Well, this is fun because 120 squared, we might need our TI-84. But this will totally negate the radical. So we literally just have 3x over 2, and I know that 120 squared, if I think about it, 12 squared is 144, and I'll probably have to add a couple zeros on there. So I know that 120 squared is 14,400. So now we're looking at this blue, and we're just going to go ahead and solve like we would solve any equation. We're going to multiply by 2 first, and I'm going to start working over here. When I do that, the 2's cancel out, and I get 3x is equal to 28,800. And those divisibility tests might help you out, but guess what? You can use a calculator. So we're going to divide each side by 3. And I know that x is equal to 9,600. Now, it's always a great idea to check, and we want to go ahead and put it back into the original. So I'm going to check it. I'm actually going to check it in black right up here. So if I have 3 times 9,600 divided by 2 under a radical, I literally can put that right into my calculator and find out that is equal to 120. Or you can continue on and know that this is 14,400 and that is equal to 120. So always a good idea to check. That's just a quick reminder for you. Let's look at example 2. Like absolute values, we need to get rid of everything around the radicals. So for example 2, the square root of 6x minus 2 minus 3 equals 7. Your gut's telling you to get rid of that 3 by adding it to each side. So I'm going to work over here. I get the square root of 6x minus 2 is equal to 10. And now I have to go ahead and square each side. A lot nicer numbers to work with here. So we have 6x minus 2 is equal to 100. And let's continue. We're going to add the 2 over. 6x is equal to 102. And in this case, when I divide each side by 6, again, just use your calculator. X is equal to 17. If I go back to the original and check, I'll go ahead and check it in some yellow. If I have the square root of 6 times 17 minus 2 minus 3 equals 7, we can go ahead and do that work. Well, 6 times 17 minus 2 is the square root of 100. Minus 3, is that equal to 7? Yes, because 10 minus 3 is equal to 7. So our big question is, does it get a little tougher? It is going to get a little tougher. So let's look at example 3. What does your gut tell you to do first in example 3? The square root of 5x squared minus 16 minus 3x is equal to 0. Yes, I would probably bring this 3x over by adding it. So the square root of 5x squared minus 16 is equal to a positive 3x. And then to get rid of a radical, I know I have to square it. Again, I'm going to start working over here. Sorry, I'm running out of room on my little notes. So when I square that, I get 5x squared plus 16 is equal to 9x squared. Well, you probably want to get these together, so you're going to subtract the 5x squared over. 16 is equal to, well, 9 minus 5 is 4x squared. Divide each side by 4. X squared is equal to 4, but anytime I solve for an x squared, I know when I take the square root of each side, I need a plus or minus 2. So this is probably a really good one to check, because I'm having the gut feeling that one of these is not going to check through. So, I have, I'm going to keep writing over here. Sorry, I'm just trying to find room. Sorry about that. So I have the square root of 5x squared plus 16 minus 3x is equal to 0. So let's see if these check through. Let's check a positive one through first. So I have 5 positive 2 squared plus 16 minus 3 times 2 is equal to 0. So it looks like I get 20 plus 16 minus 6 equals 0. Does the square root of 36 minus 6 equal 0? Well, it does. So this one checked through. Positive 2 checked through. So let's go ahead and check through that negative 2. I'll do that in green. Square root 5 negative 2 squared plus 16 minus 3 times negative 2, is that equal to 0? Well, just like the other one, this is going to be the square root of 36, but notice this becomes plus 6. And this is why I told you it's a great idea to check through, because notice that 12 is not equal to 0. So the only solution set in this case is 2. And you're going to get a couple of those where some of them don't check through. So the first thing we have to remember is that anytime I'm solving for an x squared like this, remember that we do have to have the plus and minus right here. But remember, we want to check everything through to make sure they work. And it's a great idea to do that with absolute value too. So just a good reminder for